Listen, I just got stuck in the bathroom. I had to crawl underneath the stall. Because Ashley left me.
She was hollering to help, and I didn't hear. I was like, okay, love
Couldn't
you,
find
bye.
my phone. You know where it was? My back pocket.
It's a miracle that it's not in the toilet.
Hi, I'm Kila.
And I'm Ashley.
And we met on TikTok.
2 trailers and 1 park.
And we were raised by 2 mother hustlers.
I raised my mama.
Oh my gosh, I did too.
Well, let's talk about that. We can talk shit about our moms, but no one else can. So welcome back, bitches. This is our life.
Welcome back. Jeez. Damn stall. So we've been talking about funerals.
It's part of the story, so.
Yeah. And how my dad wanted to spend we did spend all the money on her. She got the best of the best. And she's buried beside George Jones, too. Well, you can look across and see George Jones.
The possum?
My aunt's like, of course she would be.
Right. I mean, of course she's going to go out with a blaze of glory.
She did.
Who's not going to be laid beside the possum?
Yeah.
My mom's in my china cabinet, so there's that.
Oh.
She was cremated.
Yeah.
I did ride around with her ashes for a little over a week. Forgot to take them out of the car. But she loved to ride around, so I feel like it was...
It's fine.
I mean, great.
Oh, my gosh. So my stepdad, he got pulled over last week, and he said that, he's like, I'm glad they didn't search my car. If they did, he was like, Randy's in the back, his buddy.
I know.
He went and picked him up, and he's like, I was like, is he still there? He's like, well, yeah.
Well, speaking of picking up ashes, this is going to recap a little bit, but my husband, his senseis, which taught him martial arts.
Krav Maga.
Yeah. In the early 2000s, lived with a couple, and they were all like, they were just, it was him and then the couple. And then the male passed away, and I had never met them, but although we mow their yard and stuff, and my husband called me and he was like, hey, is there any way you could go pick up Jimmy's ashes? And I'm like, sure. Okay. I'll run errands for them because they're both, the 2 that were left alive were both elderly, and I'll do this. And they served our country. So their yard was absolutely hell, but I was literally the whole time I push mowed the yard, I would say, they served our country. They served our country. Because if not, I would have been like a little bitch in the front yard crying, not doing anymore. Anyways, so he asked me to go pick up Jimmy's ashes. And I'm like, sure. So I go to the funeral home, and there's no one there besides the people that work there. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to pick up, Jimmy's ashes. And she's like, oh, okay. And so, I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm just, because he didn't have any kids, no relatives other than his wife who's bedridden. And so the guy comes out, and he was like, oh, come here, go in this room with me. He took me into the room where they like the grief room. And he's rubbing my back, and
oh, okay.
He's like, I am so sorry for your loss. And I'm like, oh dear God, I thought they knew that I didn't really know him, that I was just picking up.
You were just doing the pickup.
Yeah, I was like DoorDash for ashes, I've never met them. So I'm in the grieving room, and I'm like, yeah, he was a great man. Yeah, great man. I mean, I have no idea. He could have been a serial killer for all I know. I mean, God rest her soul. And
we know you weren't.
Right. But he's rubbing my back, and he's like, we are so sorry. And here's the 12 death certificates that you requested. And I'm like, I have no idea what these are about. And I'm like, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And this went on for 10 minutes. He's like, is there anything we can do for you? I'm like, I mean, if you want to pay my light bill, that's fine. He's like, okay, whatever. Y'all can go ahead. And I'm like, okay. So I take the ashes out to the car, and I call my husband, and I'm like, what the actual fuck? I thought these people knew that I didn't know him. And I'm in here fake crying, and I'm like, yes, you're right. So anyways, it was very awkward and odd. Anyways, so later on, I have to run errands for the 2 that are left.
Okay.
I have to go to Edward Jones and give death certificates. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just know that I'm supposed to drop off these documents. So I walk in, and I'm like, hey, I'm here to drop off these documents. And she's like, oh, how is his, and insert a random name, his wife, because I'm not going to say her name. And I'm like, oh, mind you've never laid eyes on them.
You just took on the role.
Right. And I'm like, she's as well as can be expected. And she's like, oh, I've been thinking about her recently. And I'm like, yeah, she's trudging along. I have no idea. I mean, this woman could be having a freaking party.
You could win an Emmy.
I could.
You're like an whole actress.
And I call my husband, and I'm like, I literally think these people know that I'm literally like the Uber Eats of death certificates. I didn't know that.
That could be a business.
Yeah, I mean, it
Let
really
us pick up
could.
your ashes and deliver them.
Holy shit. And I'm like, Hagen, like, you could have told me that these people, like, thought that I knew these people. And he was like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. So I've had to, like, went around the square, had to drop off wheels, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm just dropping off stuff that I'm told to drop off. And anyways, people rub my backs, and I'm like, I mean,
You're
if
like
y'all want to,
UPS.
I'm like, if y'all want to, like, pay my car insurance or something, that's fine. That would make me feel a lot better.
You could
I'm
bring
sorry. Rest in peace.
You could bring us food next week.
Right. I mean, I hate to, like, benefit off their death, but, like, someone
A
could have
little
told me. Right. Someone could have told me that I was supposed to, like, I thought they knew I was just picking up ashes and.
You could pay for a podcast next week.
Right. Rest in peace, people, because I love you. But anyways, yeah. That's the shit I get into with my husband that I'm like, sure, I'll do it, because I'm a good person and I'm decent. And I'm
Right.
these people don't drive, so I'll go pick up ashes. Have no idea that I'm going to have to go into the grieving room and have to, like, do a group therapy with people. I'm like, I don't even know his last name.
Oh,
But
my
I'm
goodness.
so sorry.
What is wrong with us?
I know. I mean,
It's like crazy really does follow you.
who else have you ever heard of having to deal with this shit? It really, crazy attracts crazy.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
The law of attraction is real.
It is.
Because normal people are like, what? And I'm like, what? You haven't ever picked up a stranger's ashes?
Well, when my mom passed away, I know my funeral director, which we become good friends with. I mean, he's in my phone as my funeral director. We text, we talk all the time.
We're also friends with
He's
our
out of the
funeral
funeral
director.
business. But I was like, you've got to do her nails. And then I call him back, oh my God, you've got to pluck her eyebrows. She has to have her hair done. He thought I was
Oh.
crazy because I looked at it as if I was
No.
giving the best party in the whole world.
Oh, no.
It was her going away party. We had to have a new outfit.
Yeah.
But she asked me to go get her, a pretty shirt from Kohl's.
I got mine from JCPenney, but yeah.
And then, so yeah, it was like a party.
Well, let's talk about that because I'm a hairdresser. And so I've been to the funeral home a few times and done hair for
Oh, have you?
the deceased. Yes.
Well, her hairstylist, Miss Karen, had to go do her hair.
Yes.
And it was weird because my mom was so sick there at the end. And then after she went into like her coma stage for like a few days, it's like her body healed. So
Oh,
her hair,
yeah.
all of her gray, it was like she was a damn vampire. Like her gray went away. It's like she got younger as she laid there. Her bruises went away.
That's nice.
That was weird.
It was weird. It is weird.
She likes scary movies. She might be a damn vampire if
I
she
mean,
is now.
I
But don't be
know.
coming to my house. So it scares
Right.
me.
I've been to the funeral home a few times. I've only actually been called for myself for one of my clients once. And she would literally roll over in her grave right now if she knew I was talking about her. So I will never disclose her name to anyone. But I did her hair and her makeup. And our funeral home in our small town, it's super small. Of course, we know him. We do his hair. And the first time I ever went was with one of the ladies that I worked with. She had to go do hair for just a random lady. And she said, can you come with us? And I was like, of course, because I'm morbidly curious about all things. Like, it's just weird, And so I go down there with her, and it's this little old lady, and she's probably like 80s or 90s, and she died of like natural causes. But there was another body in there of another man, and he had this like gash on his head. And it was like really creepy. But of course, my nosy ass is like digging through all the stuff. Like I'm digging through, which the guy knew. I was like, no, I need to. The makeup that they had was like CoverGirl from 1984. And I was like, if y'all don't update this shit, I swear I'm turning you into the.
Oh, so you use their makeup.
Oh, yeah.
You don't bring your own. Oh,
well,
okay.
some families do bring in their own, but like the funeral home has their own makeup. But then like I was digging through all the like boxes and stuff because I just wanted to see like what is this stuff. And like so anyways, the lady that I was with that was doing the hair, like she's just holding the curl down there and I'm like, hello. And she's like, she's dead, bitch. I mean, not gonna burn her. And I'm like, oh, like we're gonna smell like burning flesh and shit. Anyways, I painted her nails because the lady that was doing the hair, she's shaky and she couldn't do the nails. So I'm doing the nails. And it was weird because I didn't want to touch her, because I'm weird about it. And look over and her nails are stuck to her dress. And I'm like, fuck. My one chance, Fancy, and I have let you down. So I have to unstick her fingernails from her dress, and I fold the dress over, and I stick her hand over top of it, which was weird. And then the makeup, this lady was porcelain skin, beautiful white ivory skin. And the lady that I went with put this like orange pumpkin.
Oh,
I
she looked
mean,
like a Jersey girl.
oh yeah, she looked pumpkin spice latte. And I was like, we cannot, no, no. So I made her wash that off, get that off. And then we found this like old caked up makeup, and I said, apply that because I'm not touching her skin. So she applied it, and I did a little bit of blush and whatever. But there was 3 bodies in that room, and the room was the size of our podcast space here.
Oh.
Oh no, smaller than that.
So you're like close.
Yeah, you were
enough.
having to move bodies to get around
Shut
and
up.
she was on top of the autopsy table, or like the table that they do
The silver table.
oh, well, it's porcelain, it's white
Okay.
porcelain, and it was creepy as shit. So that was like really creepy. That was my first time ever going, and I was just like, oh, that's so weird. So, anyways, I've been back a few times because my sister gets asked quite
Mhm.
often to do some hair, so I always go with her. And
Well, because nobody wants to go by themselves.
know.
Well, does the funeral people stay in there with you?
No.
Oh, they leave you.
But since we know him, we don't do it in that room in the embalming room anymore. We'll do it in
Yeah.
the casket room where all the caskets are, like they sell, and so that it's upstairs and it's like bright and all that. But he will like prank us and like knock on the door and have us shit
Oh.
our pants in there, whatever. But yeah, now we have them bring it up to the casket room, and that's where we do it. And then sometimes when I'm not needed, I'll just walk around and be like, "Damn, $7,000 for a casket."
They're
and then
expensive.
and then I tell his ass that like, y'all ought to be ashamed. It's highway robbery. But
It is.
but we
Funeral
have done
business,
several.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
They expensive.
Yeah. But we didn't do our moms because we couldn't. We just could not.
Yeah.
So we knew the girl that was going to do it, and we said, "Could you do a French braid?" But apparently, when they washed my mom's hair, it was
Mhm.
like knotted, so she couldn't really. So she did a bun, which was fine because my mom also wore her hair in a bun, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, we didn't do our moms. Like we couldn't. We just could not muster up. Like I
Right.
didn't even want to see my mom's body to be moved from the basement to the. I told the funeral director, I was like, "Do not make sure," and he did. He made sure I was outside while that was happening. But yeah, I couldn't do it with my mama because
I went in with like a suitcase of hair tools and makeup because I just knew that I was going to have to fix her makeup and
yeah,
do her stuff like she wanted it done. And so I went in an hour early with all this stuff, and I got there and I was just in awe because she looked so bad right before she passed away. And she
mhm,
was beautiful. And I was like,
mm,
oh my God, she looks like she's going out on the town. I mean, how did you
yeah,
do this? And so they did a great job.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the people
I
that
did. I didn't expect it.
I have been to some funeral homes where the people look scary.
Hmm.
Like, ugh, y'all need to take some lessons because our local funeral home is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
do
I was even like, am I seeing her differently because she's my mom? I
right.
mean, or does she really look as good as I think she does? But
Yeah, the night before mom's funeral, I told my husband, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go tomorrow. And he was like, well, you have to. And I was like, I think I'm gonna get the stomach virus though. And he was like, yeah, you have to go. And I was
yeah.
like, he was like, what are you gonna wear? And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go. Just
Mm,
give everyone my best wishes and just tell them like I was like, I can't do it. And he was like, but you have to. And I was like,
uh,
yeah, I think I'm gonna sit this one
yeah.
out. Like,
It's
let me know how it goes. And he was like, it doesn't work like that. I wore zero makeup because I was like, I'm just gonna cry it off. And I had 3 people walk up to me in the funeral home and say, have you taken like a Xanax or something? And I'm like, I haven't taken a thing. But when I tell you this eerily calmness
mm,
came over me when I walked through the doors. It was as if my mom was like hugging me, like, you can
mm.
do this. Because I had 3 people say, have you? And I'm like, I haven't taken I mean, I don't take anything.
I took a Xanax. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I was willing to, but I just didn't. I didn't have to. Like, it was
Yeah.
the weirdest thing ever. Leading up to it, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then, like, once the doors opened, it was like, my mom was like, you got this. And I was fine. I don't think I cried
I
most of the day.
actually, when the day that my mom slipped into her coma, I went to the doctor because my coworkers and my husband were like, "You need to go get some medicine, or
Yeah.
you're going to hurt somebody
Yeah.
if not." So I
See, my
went that
mom was
morning and then
sudden.
went to my
Yeah.
mom's after,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I was like, "I need Xanax or something."
Yeah. I'm thankful that
Hmm.
my mom's was sudden, so I didn't have to do the leading up to it. It was just like it happened, and So I didn't actually. Now everyone else in the funeral
Uh-huh.
home was on Xanaxes and
Well, my mom
Klonopin
was
and
fine that Friday when I went, and it was that night is when she
wow.
slipped into that
They
coma.
say that though, like you
Uh-huh.
get better before you get worse, and a lot of times they like want to say their goodbyes or
Yeah, she was sitting up in the bed talking, and it was that afternoon she started because she would get that, with her liver shutting down, she would get almost where she would get confused,
mhm,
where her
the
ammonia level
toxins.
would get up,
Mhm.
and she would, like, start her behavior would start getting crazy,
Yeah.
and so I started noticing that, and then
Wow.
by the time my stepdad got home, I was like, "We've gotta take her to the doctor," and he was like, "No, she signed she didn't wanna go to the doctor anymore," and I was like,
Mm.
"Ugh,"
Yeah.
and so
It's tough. And so for anyone out there that's dealt with this,
mhm.
like especially like having a mom that's either not even just an addict, like mental illness or anything that, makes them different than most moms, like you understand this like this dynamic that we have whenever they pass away. It's like I don't want to say bittersweet because there's nothing sweet about it, but
You don't have to worry
right,
anymore.
it's like this is what we've been anticipating. I mean,
Yes,
because
yes,
because our
your whole
moms
life.
were severe drug. My mom was
Yeah.
a severe drug addict,
It's almost
so
like you wait on that phone call.
mhm. Yeah, it's like having that kid that's, like, on drugs, and
Yeah,
you're like, "I'm just waiting for that phone call," and then you get it, it's like, "Damn, I wasn't prepared for this,"
yeah.
but
And then my mom passed away. I knew it would be just her and I in the room.
and it was?
Yep. She went to a coma Friday, and then that Monday, my daughter took off work. She wanted to be there with her so bad, and my stepdad kept staying in there. And I was like, "She's not going to go until it's just her and I."
Yeah,
And
you knew.
yep, I went in and I was like, "I'll take care of your damn bird." And then she passed away, and I was like, "Hey, not right now.
Right.
Wake back up." And
Yeah.
then, but she ended up passing away then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, "I knew she wasn't gonna do it with y'all in here."
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of our lives, and you still have your dad, your stepdad that you call your dad,
Yeah, and
and I
my
have my
daddy.
dad. Yep, and I ask him the questions that I wish I would have asked my mom.
Mm, I have God, if I say this, he might get mad. Like now I've got to where when I'm with my daddy, I'll record conversations when I'm
Yeah,
with him. Just so I'll have him. But
yeah.
he doesn't really want to answer like he has some stories. I wish we could get him on here to talk to him about
Mhm.
their life together because geez, there's no telling. They were like life in the fast lane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'd like to hear some other stories.
Yeah, my dad too.
Yeah.
My dad's been sober for 31 years.
Really? Good
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
him.
he's a big deal in the AA community,
A big deal.
even though he's supposed to be anonymous, but whatever. I just outed him. I'm just kidding. He really
Have
is.
you ever been to an AA meeting?
Oh, yes.
Have you?
Oh,
I've never
yes.
gone to one.
They're amazing.
Are they?
Yes, they are amazing. You're
We need
like,
AA.
yes, NA, but yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I've been to many, 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 many AA
Really?
meetings,
I've
and
never been to one.
they're wonderful. Like, the camaraderie there is
Uh-huh.
like no other. Like,
Yeah.
even church, you can have, like, "Oh, we're all a family," but there's
Yeah.
just nothing like I know this sounds awful, seeing people who can share their darkest moments
Right.
and relate to it. And even though I cannot relate to it personally I can relate to it with my mom, my brother, all the people in my family. And yeah, there's just something about an
We should
AA.
have our RBJ and W meetings.
What is that?
Raising barbecue.
I lost a few brain cells there. Sorry, there was too many letters.
I had to look back here.
Yeah,
RBJ and W.
yeah. I wish my mom would have like when my mom was in rehab. The few times that she went, like she participated and it was great and wonderful. But like my dad, he got it first time.
Yeah. Like we come home from rehab with all intentions of going to or meetings and then
Oh yeah, my mom never attended a
yeah,
meeting
then
afterward.
she would always be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do this." And
Actually,
we'd bring her home and then no.
oh God, no. Actually, my mom, the first time she ever went to rehab, the last day of rehab, she got caught smoking pot. The last day. And so they made her do 8 months in jail after that.
Oh
Yep. And
no.
that's when we had to go live with our dad.
My
And that
mom never had to go to rehab.
oh, every time my mom went to rehab, it was had to go.
Now
The
I'd just be like, "Nope, we're going. Let's
well,
go."
we had a guy in our community that took the people to rehab, Mr. Job, and he would bring her by the house and let her see us before she had to go to rehab. And like he would give us like an hour to like love
Yeah.
on her and all that, and like say our goodbyes because we wouldn't be able to see her for a few weeks. And like I'll never forget that. Like that probably was nothing to him to stop by, but it was a lot to
Yeah.
us. But he would bring her to like I remember the day that he brought her to our house from jail to go to rehab and like let us spend like an hour with her before we went, and I thought that was really special because I mean, not a lot of people put a lot of thought into the inmates' kids or,
Mhm.
the people's kids. They're just like, another number. But he did.
Right.
He always did. And so I appreciate that. And I also do the lady's hair that her dad was sheriff for like 30 something years and she worked at the jail and I would be able to call her and be like, "Hey, I'm having a crisis. Can I come see my mom?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Oh,
And I'd
that's
get to go to the
nice.
jail and like hang out with my mom for a little bit and they would be fine with it because like they knew I wasn't going to bring anything. And like sometimes you just need your mom. And I'm like 14 or
Right.
15 and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to do here. And so they would let my mom come out on the bench at the
Aw,
jail and I would get to sit there and talk to her like for 15 minutes or so. And like,
that's so sweet.
yeah, but they always did. I do her hair now and I'm like, you have no idea what you mean to us.
Yes.
And she's like, no, I loved your mom. I'm like, no, no, no. My mom may have impacted you, but you don't realize how much you impacted us because
Right.
you were a human in a situation where you could have been a complete bitch and been like, nope, the law say,
Yeah,
but she wasn't. She was a great person. She
that's
still
nice.
is. So, yeah. But I mean, my mom went to jail in the 80s. And when she first went to jail, we got to visit her in her cell. We went in her cell with her, like laid on her bed, like she had a TV. Like, I mean, it was like a little roach motel.
That should be done now.
I mean, it
That may
really,
maybe,
yeah.
you know.
Later on, we had to visit outside of the bars of her cell, but like
Mhm.
she was still in her cell, but it was still like I would peel the paint off the walls because I'm a picker and I like to pick things, and like that was just we were used to that. But in the 80s, we were allowed to go in her cell with her.
That's neat.
Yeah,
I know I love to hear Cassie and Dixie stories because all the stories about them going to visit their dad
yeah.
are in, like, he's got on the same outfit
Oh,
with the little same background.
that's cute. Our mom was in like county jail, so she got to wear like regular clothes,
Yeah.
like for
Oh,
the.
did you have to take her clothes there?
Oh yeah, and I had to take her toilet paper,
Oh,
toothpaste, all the things that she
really?
needed. Yeah, all. They didn't have commissary back then.
Did
Like
you have to wash her clothes or pick
no,
them
they
up?
washed them
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah, she was actually a trustee, so she got to get out and
Oh,
she
I was
did
a
everybody.
trustee.
Oh, you was?
I was,
How long
girl.
was you in? I thought
We've
like
talked about
I thought it was like
this.
2 days or something. They already trusted you. They don't fucking know you, do they? Their standards aren't very
It's all
high, are
about who
they?
you know,
Oh, okay.
not who they know.
Exactly.
She said they didn't trust you.
I was thinking like after 2 days you done built up trust. Hell, what was you snitching? Hell, was you a mole?
Cassie said that when you go to prison, the lawyer tells you there's only two types of people in prison: the people that snitch and the people that wish they had.
Yes, and I'm the
Like
snitch. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm singing like a fucking canary.
me
I'm
too.
not going down for nobody else's shit. I don't give a damn. You call me what the hell you want to call me. There ain't no
Uh,
trailer park bond here, loyalty. My loyalty lies with me and me only. I ain't going down for nobody's shit.
my
Not
loyalty
happening.
lies with me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. One time,
yeah,
my
I'm
cousin,
with you.
our jail, like it literally had like 6-foot fence with the barbed wire, whatever.
Hmm.
And that was called the bullpen where they'd let people out, which they didn't even use it, whatever. But my cousin was like, hey, let's roll by the jail, which we always did because we always knew everybody in the fucking jail. So we would just ride by, hang out the window. Well, he threw something out the car window, and I was like, motherfucker, you are going down faster than the Titanic if I get pulled over. Not only am I going to snitch on you for this, I'm snitching on shit that happened like in the past. No, I cannot believe you did this. And he was like, your mom's going to pick it up after. I was like, I don't give a damn about my mom, your mom, nobody's mom. I ain't sneaking shit in. And no, you just threw contraband out of my window, and it was like a joint. But I was like, no. You're going down, which we didn't get pulled over, but I was like, I'm telling you right now, I'm snitching like a damn canary. I'm going to sing like a canary. You are not, I am not going to jail.
Okay, so let's talk about last episode. It was your anniversary with
Yeah,
Hagen.
13 years.
Yeah.
And 13's my lucky number, so I feel like this year is going to be like fucking epic.
Oh,
I really
okay.
do. I love the number 13.
So it's my anniversary too.
Of what?
The day that I got to grab Morgan Wallen's ass.
In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous.
Oh, wow.
I know, I
That's a big one, too.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
And he called me ma'am.
Oh.
I know.
So close,
I
Kila.
know. But he's raised right. So I had a proud mom moment for his mom. And then
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
But I got to take my picture with him.
Yeah. I mean, even if he would have called you bitch, it would have been better because you would have been like,
Pull my hair.
right. Call me ugly names.
I'm just kidding.
Where were you at? Okay.
Okay, so we went to the Georgia-Tennessee game 2 years ago. Dixie got us tickets to this game. And we just had to go pee somewhere and went into this little bar. Dixie and I actually went into the hotel because we figured it would be cleaner than going to a bar.
And that is such a 49-year-old person's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead.
And it was happened to be Peyton Manning's hotel, and I can't remember what it's called. The I don't even know.
The Manning. We'll just call it that.
The Manning. But on the backside there was a bar. So, Dixie works at that golf course. So she's told me how her and Peyton Manning are good friends. And we went down to meet him one time, and then he didn't come to the party that we were at.
What a fucker.
So we're like, whatever. Yeah. You don't even know Peyton Manning.
Right.
So Brian and Larry go to the bar to go to the bathroom, and he calls, and he's like, hey, Peyton's here. And Dixie's like, oh, okay. I mean, he was in a back room, so it's not like we could see Peyton Manning.
Right.
He was in a back room, and security's everywhere around. I did. Look at our message.
Our producer just flashed on the prompter that Kila just admitted to sexual assault.
In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous.
Well, I'm explaining myself, Tom.
Yeah.
So let me explain, and it's
he
really
may have had
not
something on his pants, Tom.
sexual assault. I'm short.
Right.
I'm short. We're going to leave
She
it
was
there.
reaching.
Well, I'm telling my story, and then you tell me if you think it's assault. So we are in this bar, and Peyton Manning's there, Larry said. So we go over, run into a couple friends that we know, and the security is back in front of this room. And I'm like, Dixie, go tell Peyton you're here. And she's like, no, I can't do that. And I'm like,
and you're
go
like, we're your
tell
best
him.
friends. So
Yeah, I'm like, you've been telling us forever we can meet him. My husband's here. You go tell Peyton we're here.
Right.
She wouldn't do it. So I went up to security, and I'm like, oh, can you please go tell Peyton Manning that Dixie White's here? And she's like,
and he's like, shit,
he's
Dixie
like,
White, Dixie
really?
White.
And Dixie's standing over, and he's like, seriously? And I was like, yes, go let Peyton Manning know that my sister Dixie is here to see him. And so he thinks I'm crazy. But he does. He goes and tells Peyton. Well, Peyton comes out and grabs Dixie up and hugs her real big.
So it's
and
confirmed.
I mean, he's like 22 foot tall. I mean, I really come to his belly button. Not kidding. So she's like, oh my gosh, this is my sister Kila, and Peyton Manning is bending down to shake my hand or to talk to me. And when he bends down, I see in the room, and I'm like, is that Morgan Wallen? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, can I take a picture? Like, I didn't even talk to Peyton Manning. I don't know what he said. I mean, I probably climbed him like a spider monkey at that point to dive on Morgan Wallen.
Right.
But Morgan's coming out, and so he comes out, and I don't know how, it's like a blank. I don't know how I ended up on the side of Morgan to take my picture.
Because you're starstruck at this point.
I'm starstruck. I can't talk when that happens. Dixie's hugging him, and I'm hugging him. Well, I'm 4'11", and he's taller than I am. I don't know how tall he is. Everybody's taller than I am. So I just have my arm around him, and I look at him, and I said, oh my God, my hand's on your ass, isn't it? And he's like, yes, ma'am. And I was like, hilarious. I'm so sorry. And I move it. Well, then we take our picture, and I look at him, and I'm like, I'm not sorry at all.
And then Law and Order SVU showed up. And
well, then we start laughing about it.
And this is how Kila's on the sex offenders list.
Right. And then women charged us from every direction to try to get to Morgan Wallen. And I'm like,
and you're like,
we're trying to talk here because
you're like, hello.
Yes. We're trying to tell him our lost and found sister story. And then all these women are climbing over me like a spider monkey to get to him. And I'm like, bitch, hold on, I'll kill you.
Right.
But, it just went from there. But anyway.
So now we just went to Law and Order, just regular criminal intent.
By myself. I didn't hurt. There was nobody harmed.
Right.
Including Morgan Wallen's bum during
was over top of the clothes, so it's
it
not
was, and I didn't mean to. I mean, I didn't know where my hand went.
I feel like it's a misdemeanor at this point.
I told him I apologized. And he was raised right. He said, "Yes, ma'am." That's the moral. Right. And the moral of the story is that Peyton Manning shouldn't have too many famous friends like Kenny Chesney and Morgan. I mean,
right? It's
not
your
go around
fault.
with all of them. And
it's really not your fault.
It's not my fault.
No. I
Yeah.
mean, you shouldn't be that good at football to where you get famous friends. I mean, not your fault.
Yeah. What the hell
So,
is that about?
so
Can't be good
yeah,
at every. He's an overachiever.
right.
I'm just kidding. He was really nice too, I think.
That's awesome.
Dixie said, "What do you remember most about Peyton?" I was like, "His belly button," because
I
I
can
don't even
hear
remember.
those nachos that he ate.
He's the
Bubble
tallest
guts.
man I've ever seen in my whole life.
Is he really that tall?
Yes. Or
Oh,
I'm just that short. I don't know, but
yeah.
he is the tallest
Same.
human ever. Yeah. I think his arms as long as my whole body.
Oh, see, I met the guy from Little Big Town, the blonde haired, in Chuck E. Cheese. Of
Oh.
course I did. Like, where else would I meet him? I mean, and I had no idea who he was. But my sister, on the other hand, is a musical genius. And she's like, that's the guy from Little Big Town. I'm like, okay. No, it's not. Anyways, it was.
him.
So we sent one of the kids, because obviously, I mean, we're not going to go over and ask him. Or we sent one of the kids, and he was like, yeah, I am. And well, he may have had a few drinks because it's Chuck E. Cheese and they serve freaking beer there.
Yeah. Who doesn't drink when you're kids?
So he comes over and he's like hugging us and he's like, hey, how are y'all? And we're like, we're great. And I'm like, I love you. And anyways, he's like, so where y'all from? And I say Centerville. And his wife thinks I say Center Hill, which is a very prominent area. And she's like, oh, I love Center Hill Lake. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly where we're from, is Center Hill Lake. I have no idea where the hell Center Hill Lake is. And I'm like, yes, Dottie's Trailer Park in Center Hill Lake.
Oh, your trailer park was called Dottie's. I love that.
Oh, yes. And so he's like talking to us, and my sister's like flustered, because here's your one chance. Fancy, don't let us down. I'm going to say that every podcast. And she's like, my son can play Smoke on the Water. And when we get outside, my nephew goes, he's like 14. He's like, Smoke on the Water, Mom? That's literally the beginner level of anything that I can literally play freaking Freebird. I can play everything. You said Smoke on the Water. She's like, I couldn't think of anything. He's like, Mom, that's the worst song ever. And he was like, I'm never going to get a freaking record deal from that. I mean, he's 14, but he actually is a very talented artist. So if anybody from Nashville hears us, pick him up. Drew Gay. Yeah, there you go. And he's our number one fan, so whatever.
Shout out.
Right. But that was hilarious. We left. I got my picture
I don't
made
even
with
know that song.
Smoke on the Water.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know
yes,
it.
you know the song.
Okay, I'll
I
have to
gotta
Google
play
it.
it. I'll play it
Okay.
for you when we leave. But
All right.
yeah. So that's our one chance to meet someone famous, and then we ruin it, of course. I mean,
I
she's
can't
like,
talk when I meet people.
neither. She's like, Center Hill, I love Center Hill Lake. I'm like, yeah, it's exactly where we're from. Dottie's Trailer Park in Center. I'm like, I've never even seen a fucking lake. I've seen a creek. I've seen a river. That's of the water, bodies of water that I've seen.
We went to the Gaither vocal band or the Gaither
Yes.
homecoming at World Outreach Church a few years ago. And my friend Julie that I work with, she loves one of them. And we went to the bathroom and she jumps in front of him and was just like, I love you. And I was like, he's looking at us like we're crazy because
Yeah.
your mouth's not working.
Of course.
I mean, she looks like a serial killer.
That
She
would
did
be
that with
me.
my cousin Sonny too. I was like, Julie, this is my cousin Sonny. And she's like, I love you. And I'm like, no, she doesn't. She don't even know who you play for.
I seen one of the not moms from Teen Mom, but the grandmoms from Teen Mom.
Who?
Caitlin's mom in
Oh,
the hotel lobby.
yeah.
And no offense to you, but
Don't offend another star.
I'm not. I'm gonna end up dead, but I know, but I love y'all. But when I saw her, I was like, I know her because she reminds me of a lot of people that I know.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know her. And then I'm like, oh, it's Caitlin's mom from Teen Mom. And like, I literally fangirled April, Caitlin's mom from Teen Mom.
Yeah.
And I text my friend who also watched Teen Mom, and I'm like, ah. And so I messaged her on TikTok because I was like, I mean, I have more followers than she does, but it doesn't matter because I was like, oh my God. And then she posted that she was there, and I was like, we're in the same hotel. And like, I'm like, that's who I meet is people like that. But I think that's great. I think that's better
Yeah.
than meeting like Michael Jordan because he'd probably be like, bitch, get off. Like,
Yeah.
who the hell are you? And I'm like, nobody. But anyways, we love y'all, and we want y'all to
Yes.
tell everyone about our podcast.
Or
And
just at least pick 3 people. If
Right.
not everyone, 3 people.
Right. Your mailman, your baker, your butcher. I mean, I did the work for you. All you have to do is tell them. So we need reviews, like, follow, subscribe. Obviously, the links will be in the description. We also need you to rate us, and it needs to be 5-star,
Give us a
or
review.
we'll find you. And we need emails. Like, email us, BarbaraJeanandWanda@gmail.com. Let us know, like, what do you want to hear? You want to be on our podcast? We would love to have you.
We'll try not to overtalk you.
We won't this time. We're going to be better at it. And let us know, like, what we can do. Like, we like constructive criticism. Don't be a bitch, because, anyways, but,
don't be crazy.
We love y'all.
Remember.
So we can talk shit about our moms.
But you can't.
Nobody else can.
Because we crazy bitches.
That's right. Have a
Peace
great week.
out.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This is like a movie.